Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Japanese ebook before it's gone.
Welcome to Can Do Japanese by JapanesePod101.com.
皆さんこんにちは、加納かなです。Hi everyone, I'm Kana Kano. In this lesson, you learn how to introduce yourself in Japanese.
This is Mark Lee, and he's on a plane to Japan. Ken Kobayashi, a passenger sitting next to him, introduces himself by saying, "Nice to meet you. I'm Kobayashi. Pleased to meet you."
はじめまして。私は小林です。よろしくお願いします。
Listen to the conversation and focus on Mark's response. Ready?
はじめまして。私は小林です。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私はリーマークです。よろしくお願いします。
Once more with the English translation.
はじめまして。私は小林です。よろしくお願いします。
Nice to meet you. I'm Kobayashi. Pleased to meet you.
はじめまして。私はリーマークです。よろしくお願いします。
Nice to meet you. I'm Mark Lee. Pleased to meet you.
Let's take a closer look at Mark's response.
Do you remember how Mark Lee introduces himself? Nice to meet you. I'm Mark Lee. Pleased to meet you.
「はじめまして。私はリーマークです。よろしくお願いします。」
First is the phrase,
はじめまして。
meaning, nice to meet you.
はじめまして。はじめまして。
This phrase is usually the first thing someone says when making a self-introduction in Japanese.
はじめまして。
Now let's look at the last part of Mark's response.
よろしくお願いします。
This literally means, be good to me, please. There is no equivalent in English since the meaning is understood from the context of the situation. In the context of meeting someone for the first time, it translates as, pleased to meet you.
よろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いします。
Do you remember how Mark says, I'm Mark Lee?
「私はリーマークです。」
First is,
私
meaning I.
わたし私
Next is the particle,
わ
the topic marking particle.
わ
It marks
私
I as the topic of the sentence. Think of it like as for in the expression as for me. Together, it's
私は
as for me.
私は
Next is Mark Lee's name. Note the name order. First is Mark's family name,
リ
Lee,
ーリーリー
followed by his given name,
マーク
Mark.
マークマーク
Together, it's
リーマーク
Lee Mark.
リーマーク
In Japanese, the order is family name first, followed by given names. Last is,
です
in this case, it's like the am in I am. It's a linking verb.
です。です。
Altogether, it's
私はリーマークです。
This literally means, as for me, Lee Mark am, but it translates as I'm Mark Lee.
私はリーマークです。
The pattern is
私は name です。
I'm name.
私は name です。
To use this pattern, simply replace the name placeholder with your name. Imagine you're Karen Lee. In Japanese,
かれんりー。カレンリー。
say, I'm Karen Lee. Remember Japanese name order. Family name first, followed by given name. Ready?
私はリー・カレンです。
I'm Karen Lee.
私はリー・カレンです。
Now, do you remember how Ken Kobayashi says, I'm Kobayashi?
私は小林です。
I'm Kobayashi.
私は小林です。
The pattern is the same, but Ken Kobayashi uses only his family name. He omits his given name. The pattern is
私は family name です。
I'm family name.
私は family name です。
In Japan, it's common to give only one's family name in a self-introduction. Let's practice this pattern with Karen Lee. Drop Karen Lee's first name and say, I'm Lee. Ready?
私はリーです。
I'm Lee.
私はリーです。
Let's look at some examples of people introducing themselves. Listen and repeat, or speak along with the native speakers.
はじめまして。私は小林です。よろしくお願いします。はじめまして。私は小林です。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私はリーマークです。よろしくお願いします。はじめまして。私はリーマークです。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私はリー・カレンです。よろしくお願いします。はじめまして。私はリー・カレンです。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私は加納かなです。よろしくお願いします。はじめまして。私は加納かなです。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして、田中です。よろしくお願いします。はじめまして、田中です。よろしくお願いします。
Did you notice the last speaker omits 私は
She says,
はじめまして、田中です。よろしくお願いします。
Nice to meet you. I'm Tanaka. Pleased to meet you.
はじめまして、田中です。よろしくお願いします。
Tomoko Tanaka omits
私は
and says only her family name,
田中
followed by.
です。
When it's clear from context, the speaker often omits the topic in Japanese. In this case, it's clear the speaker is talking about herself. The pattern is
name です。
I'm name.
name です。
Do you remember my introduction at the start of the lesson? 加納かなです。I'm かなかの。加納かなです。
This is shortened in the same way by omitting
私は
You should be aware of this shortcut, but for this lesson, we'll use the pattern
私は name です。
I'm name.
私は name です。
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say, Nice to meet you? はじめまして。はじめまして。And do you remember how to say, Pleased to meet you? よろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いします。Do you remember the word for I? 私。私。And the topic marking particle? は。は。Do you remember how Mark Lee says his name? リーマーク。リーマーク。Do you remember how Mark Lee says, I'm Mark Lee? 私はリーマークです。私はリーマークです。All together, do you remember how Mark introduces himself?
はじめまして。私はリーマークです。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私はリーマークです。よろしくお願いします。Finally, do you remember how Ken Kobayashi introduces himself?
はじめまして。私は小林です。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私は小林です。よろしくお願いします。
Let's practice. Imagine you're
リー・カレン。
respond to Ken Kobayashi's self-introduction. Ready?
はじめまして。私は小林です。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私はリー・カレンです。よろしくお願いします。
Listen again and repeat.
はじめまして。私はリー・カレンです。よろしくお願いします。はじめまして。私はリー・カレンです。よろしくお願いします。
Let's try another. Imagine you're
田中智子。
use your family name only in your self-introduction. Ready?
はじめまして。私は小林です。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私は田中です。よろしくお願いします。
Listen again and repeat.
はじめまして。私は田中です。よろしくお願いします。はじめまして。私は田中です。よろしくお願いします。
Let's try one more. Imagine you're.
可能かな
Use Japanese name order in your self-introduction. Ready?
はじめまして。私は小林です。よろしくお願いします。
はじめまして。私は加納かなです。よろしくお願いします。
Listen again and repeat.
はじめまして。私は加納かなです。よろしくお願いします。はじめまして。私は加納かなです。よろしくお願いします。When introducing yourself as a Japanese learner, use the name or name order with which you'd like to be addressed. For example, you might want to use just your given name. 私はカレンです。I'm Karen. Or given name followed by family name. 私はカレン・リーです。I'm Karen Lee. This is perfectly all right. You can feel free to use the name you would like to be called. This is the end of this lesson.
Remember, these can-do lessons are about learning practical language skills. What's next? Show us what you can do. When you're ready, take your assessment. You can take it again and again, so try anytime you like. Our teachers will assess it and give you your results.
Well done! Now you know how to introduce yourself in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Well done! Now you know how to introduce yourself in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Want to master grammar so you can speak properly, express yourself better, and understand more? In this video, I'll show you how to master grammar with our lessons and learning program. Let's begin. Number 1. Listen to the lesson conversations and explanations. In every lesson, you learn a conversation. Then, our teachers break down every word and grammar rule. So you're actually learning grammar rules in the context of conversations, and you can easily see how they're used. Once you're done, review the conversation again and again to remember what you've learned. Number 2. Read the bonus explanations and tutorials. With the lesson notes, you get extra grammar explanations and examples that are not presented in the lesson. After you're done with the lesson, read the lesson notes for extra review. You can even save them as PDFs so that you can access them anytime. Number 3. Leave a comment on the lesson. Once you've learned a grammar point, be sure to use it. Leave a comment in the comments section. Write some example sentences for practice. Our teachers will review your comment and give you feedback. Number 4. Unlock even more grammar lessons. If you want to find all of the grammar lessons available, visit our lesson library. Under Category, choose Grammar. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons dedicated to helping you learn and master sentence patterns and grammar points. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Japanese Particle Guide. Particles are a very important part of the Japanese language. The particles used in a sentence give us critical information about the meaning. So if the wrong particles are used, the whole meaning of the sentence could change. That's why it's very important to know how to use the different particles in Japanese. The word for particle in Japanese is
助詞 助詞 In this series, we'll go over the main particles one by one. In this lesson, you'll learn the particle は
This particle is often referred to as the topic particle because it comes after the topic of the sentence and tells the listener what the sentence is about. We can translate this as for, or speaking of in English.
Let's see how it functions in a sentence.
明日は土曜日です
This means, as for tomorrow, it's Saturday. Let's break it down.
明日
Tomorrow.
は
As for.
Notice that the particle is placed after the topic of the sentence. Then we have
土曜日
Saturday.
です
This is the copula, which is the equivalent to is, am, or are in English. So literally it means, as for tomorrow, Saturday is. But of course, in natural speech, we'd say tomorrow is Saturday. There's an important point to remember about this particle's pronunciation.
This particle is written as the hiragana は However, when used as a particle, it is always pronounced は
Now let's take a look at a few more examples.
出身はどこですか
Literally, as for your hometown, where is it? Or, where are you from?
今日は雨です
Literally, as for today, it's rainy. Or, it's rainy today.
沖縄は暑い
Literally, as for Okinawa, it's hot. Or, it's hot in Okinawa.
We can also use this particle to show contrast between two items or ideas.
When we use it in this way, we mark the two items being contrasted with は
How does it work?
For example, if we want to contrast the object of a sentence, we replace the particle お or が with は
This will make more sense when you hear some examples. So, can we hear an example?
Sure. 魚は食べます。でも肉は食べません。
This means, I eat fish, but I don't eat meat. Please note that the topic, I, as in I eat, is implied in this sentence. Let's examine our example sentence closely. First, let's start with the original sentences. Risa, how do you say, I eat fish?
魚を食べます。The object, which in this case is what I eat, is 魚. So 魚 is marked by the particle を。魚を食べます。
Okay, and how do we say, I don't eat meat?
Meat is 肉. The negative form of 食べます is 食べません。So, 肉を食べません。If I add a topic, it will be 私は肉を食べません。
So now to contrast these two sentences, we replace the particle お with は. So that gives us
魚は食べます。でも肉は食べません。でも means but.
So by using は in this sentence, we are putting a lot of contrast between the two items. I eat fish, but I don't eat meat. Along with the particle お, the particle が can also be replaced with は to show contrast.
In English, we often show this same kind of contrast through intonation.
Let's take a look at a few more examples.
時間はあります。でもお金はありません。
I have time, but I don't have money.
犬は好きです。でも猫は嫌いです。
I like dogs, but I don't like cats.
アイスクリームは好きです。 でも、ケーキは嫌いです。
I like ice cream, but I don't like cake. Now let's use what you learned in this lesson. We learned how to say, tomorrow is Saturday.
明日は土曜日です。
The particle marks the topic of the sentence to tell the listener what the sentence is about. The structure is topic,
は、
something. Now let's try saying, I'm a student, using the same structure. Here are the words meaning I and student.
私、学生、
Try to say, I'm a student in Japanese. The answer is,
私は学生です。
did you get it right? In this sentence, wa marks the topic and subject. Let's try one more. We also learned how to say, I eat fish, but I don't eat meat.
魚は食べます。でも肉は食べません。
Here, the particle wa marks a contrast. We substituted
お、
with
は、
as we want to highlight the contrast between eating fish but not meat. So the structure is contrasted item.
は、
Now let's try to say, I have a pen, but I don't have paper in Japanese. Here are the words for pen and paper. Normally, I have a pen is,
ペンがあります。
I don't have paper is.
紙がありません。
Now, try to say, I have a pen, but I don't have paper in Japanese. The answer is,
ペンはあります。でも紙はありません。
did you get it right? In this sentence, we need to show a contrast between pen and paper, so the particle wa follows them. In this lesson, you learned about the particle
は、
Want to learn Japanese even faster with your own teacher? Then upgrade to Premium Plus and get one-on-one access to a native teacher and a personalized learning program. You also get instant access to all of the lessons and study tools available in our premium plan. In the next lesson, you'll learn about the particle
が、
See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye!
Do you know how to count pairs of chopsticks? You'll find out at the end of this lesson. Hi everybody, I'm Alicia.
こんにちは、山森です。
Welcome to Japanese Counters for Beginners, where you'll learn how to count all sorts of different objects in Japanese. Yamamori-sensei, what counter will we learn in this lesson?
本、
First, let's take a look at what sorts of objects can be counted with this counter.
When counting inanimate objects that are long and thin, you can use this counter.
本、
What are the examples of long and thin objects? Objects can be made of soft materials, like cords and strings, or hard materials, like pens and pencils. You can also count bigger objects, such as trees and telephone poles. Okay, let's count from 1 to 10 with this counter.
1本、2本、3本、4本、5本、6本、7本、8本、or 8本、9本、10本。
Did you notice that there were some numbers that sounded different to how they usually sound? When you read the numbers 1, 3, 6, and 10, you should be careful. Yamamori-sensei will give you the right pronunciation once again.
For number 1, it's 1本, not 1本. For number 6, it's 6本, not 6本. For number 10, it's 10本, not 10本. For number 3, it's 3本, not 3本. Only this number 3 takes 本.
Okay, now let's take a look at some sample sentences that use this counter.
ワインを3本買います。
I'll buy 3 bottles of wine.
ペンを5本ください。
Can I have 5 pens, please?
木が8本あります。
There are 8 trees.
Now it's time for a quiz. I'm going to ask you a question in English. Please answer in Japanese. Are you ready? Make sure to use the right counter.
How many umbrellas are there?
傘が2本あります。
How many bottles of water did you buy?
水を10本買いました。
Do you know how to count a pair of chopsticks? The answer is
1膳。
you need to use this counter to specify how many pairs of chopsticks. If you say,
箸を2膳ください。
it means, can I have 2 pairs of chopsticks, please? With this proper counter, you can get 2 pairs of chopsticks instead of 2 individual sticks. Okay, everyone, that's it for this lesson. I'll see you next time. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Japanese Particle Guide.
In this lesson, you learn the particle ga.
This particle is often referred to as the subject particle. It can also mark the object for certain verbs and adjectives. As a subject particle, it indicates existence.
Right. So ga is often used with あります and います meaning to have or to exist.
Let's see how it functions in a sentence.
あそこにコンビニがあります。
This means there's a convenience store over there. Let's break it down.
あそこに
Over there.
コンビニ
Convenience store.
が
This is the particle marking the subject.
あります。
This is the verb to talk about the existence of something, just like we'd say there is or there are in English. Remember that to talk about the existence of animate things, such as people and animals, you should use
います。
When some people pronounce this particle, it can sound nasally.
Right. It sounds like nga. Both ga and nga are acceptable, so don't worry too much.
Now let's take a look at a few more examples.
ペットがいます。
Literally, it means there is a pet, but it actually means I have a pet.
宿題があります。
Literally, it means there is homework or I have homework.
兄弟がいません。
This sentence is negative, and it literally means there aren't any siblings, which is like saying I don't have any siblings. We can also use this particle to mark an object of desire with certain verbs or adjectives.
Right. For example, we can mark the object of an adjective of desire, such as 欲しいです I want, or the stem of a verb plus たいです which means I want to verb.
Let's see how it functions in a sentence.
私は時間が欲しいです。
This means I want time. Let's break it down.
私は
Which means I is the topic or subject of this sentence, so it's marked by the particle
は
Please note that the 私は part is often omitted since 欲しい is used only in the first person. Then we have the object, what the speaker wants.
時間が
Notice that the particle marking the object is
が
Finally, we have
欲しいです。
This is an adjective and means I want. Let's give an example with a verb.
By using the stem of a verb plus たい you can say 私はお茶が飲みたいです。
I want to drink tea.
As you can see, the object お茶 is marked by が欲しいです and がしたいです are the key patterns to remember.
Let's take a look at a few more examples.
私はピンクの車が欲しいです。
I want a pink car.
私はそばが食べたいです。
I want to eat buckwheat noodles.
私は水が飲みたいです。
I want to drink water. Now let's use what you learned in this lesson. We learned how to say, there is a convenience store over there.
あそこにコンビニがあります。
Here, the particle が marks the subject of the sentence. The structure of the sentence is subject,
が
existence verb. Now let's try with, there's a park over there. Here's the word for park.
公園
Try to say, there's a park over there in Japanese. The answer is,
あそこに公園があります。
did you get it right? In this sentence, the particle が indicates existence. Let's try one more. We also learned how to say, I want time.
私は時間が欲しいです。
Here, the particle が marks the object of desire. The structure is object,
が
desire verb or adjective. Now let's try with I want water. Here's the word for water.
水
Try to say, I want water in Japanese. The answer is,
私は水が欲しいです。
right. In this case, water is the object of a desire. In this lesson, you learned about the particle
が
Want to learn Japanese even faster with your own teacher? Then upgrade to Premium Plus and get one-on-one access to a native teacher and a personalized learning program. You also get instant access to all of the lessons and study tools available in our premium plan. In the next lesson, you'll learn about the particle
お
See you in the next lesson. Bye!
Bye!
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Yamamoto. Welcome to the Ultimate Japanese Pronunciation Guide. In this series, you'll master Japanese pronunciation. Proper pronunciation is essential for being understood, and in this series, you'll learn it in a fast, accessible, and comprehensive way. In this lesson, you'll learn 2 keys to mastering Japanese pronunciation. First, Japanese pronunciation is comparatively easy. Japanese has only 5 vowel and 14 consonant sounds. Almost all Japanese syllables are made up of one of these consonants and one of these vowels. But the 5 vowels also appear individually. Take a look at the chart. Each character, or kana, represents one syllable. The characters in the right column represent a vowel sound only. In the top row of this chart, the characters represent consonant sounds. By combining these, you can form most Japanese syllables. For example, look at the consonant K row. Consonant K sound plus the vowel a becomes ka. Consonant K sound plus the vowel I becomes ki. Consonant K sound plus the vowel u becomes ku. The consonant M row follows the same pattern. Consonant M sound plus the vowel e becomes me. Consonant M sound plus the vowel o becomes mo. Again, each syllable on the kana chart is a combination of a consonant and a vowel. The main exceptions are the 5 vowel group and the special n sound. Let's hear how some Japanese words are pronounced. The first example is a common Japanese surname, Tanaka. Ta-na-ka. It's made up of 3 syllables, ta-na-ka. Each syllable consists of 1 consonant and 1 vowel. Another common surname in Japanese is Nakata. Na-ka-ta. The pronunciation of these 3 kana are the same as in Tanaka, just the order has changed. With a few notable exceptions, you can properly pronounce Japanese simply by reading hiragana or katakana, the 2 Japanese alphabets. Remember this tip, and it will help you throughout your studies. Now, the second key point is, each syllable in Japanese is pronounced for the same length of time with equal stress. For example, when you say America in English, you put stress on me and say it for longer than the other parts, America. The word America in Japanese has 4 syllables, and you say each syllable for the same length of time. America. Pronounce it like this to sound like a native Japanese speaker. Another example. How do you say this word in English? You would say karaoke, but in Japanese, you say karaoke. Remember that each syllable in Japanese is pronounced for the same length of time and gets equal stress. Now to close the lesson, here's the question for you. Why should you, including advanced speakers, spend time on learning proper pronunciation? The answer: you will be understood, and this will build confidence when you're speaking. Also, speaking with proper pronunciation is always impressive. For beginners, you're on the path to perfect pronunciation. And for the advanced students, this is a chance to perfect your pronunciation. Now you know the basics of Japanese pronunciation. In the next lesson, you'll learn the top 5 pronunciation mistakes Japanese learners make. You'll want to avoid these at all costs, so keep watching. What is the hardest part of Japanese pronunciation? Tell us about it in the comments. See you in the next Ultimate Japanese Pronunciation Guide lesson.
Do you know how to count a loaf of bread? You'll find out at the end of this lesson. Hi everybody, I'm Alicia.
Konnichiwa, Yamamori desu.
Welcome to Japanese Counters for Beginners, where you'll learn how to count all sorts of different objects in Japanese. Yamamori-sensei, what counter will we learn in this lesson?
Mai.
First, let's take a look at what sorts of objects can be counted with this counter.
When counting inanimate, thin, or flat objects, you can use the counter.
Mai.
Examples of thin or flat objects are paper and cards. We can also use this counter for not totally flat objects, like plates and dishes. It doesn't matter if it's circle or square, so slices of bread, ham, and cheese, and CDs and DVDs can be counted with this counter too. Okay, let's count from 1 to 10 with this counter.
1枚、2枚、3枚、4枚、5枚、6枚、7枚、8枚、 9枚、10枚。
This counter doesn't change for specific numbers, so it's very easy. Still, there are some tips when you count with this counter. Yamamori-sensei will give you the right pronunciation once again with some key points.
For the number 7, it's 7枚, because 7枚 sounds very similar to number 1's counter, 1枚.
Okay, now let's take a look at some sample sentences that use this counter.
CD を10枚買いました。
I bought 10 CDs.
テーブルにお皿が5枚あります。
There are 5 dishes on the table.
毎朝パンを2枚食べます。
I eat 2 slices of bread every morning.
Now it's time for a quiz. I'm going to ask you a question in English. Please answer in Japanese. Are you ready? Make sure to use the right counter.
How many pieces of paper are there?
紙が7枚あります。
How many slices of cheese did you eat?
チーズを3枚食べました。
Now we know how to count slices of bread, but how about a loaf? Do you know how to say a loaf?
一斤、
A loaf is usually sliced into 4, 5, 6, 8, or 10 slices and is sold in supermarkets. But at bakeries, you can ask for a customized size. For example, you can ask for
食パンを2斤ください。
It means, can I have 2 loaves of bread, please? Okay, everyone, that's it for this lesson. I'll see you next time.
Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Japanese ebook before it's gone.